Hi guys, Ryan here with Sigma Survival, and I'm going to talk about widowmakers in this video. So guys, I'm out in this part of Portugal on a lake in the woods, and on the embankment there's this pine woodland, and it is just full of widowmakers. This is like a graveyard of trees where I am right now. This is the perfect place to explain principles of what to look out for. So here is a clear example, for one, of a tree that has basically just collapsed down, and you can see that it's been here for a while. But if you look around, you can see trees everywhere that have fallen. They've been left here a long time. Of particular interest is one over here. So if you come with me, you can see the perfect example of multiple things wrong. Here, I'm not sure whether if this is where the tree has collapsed and split in half and left a central piece, or if it's where like wild boars have basically used their tusks to kind of destroy the rotten tree. But essentially it's a widowmaker. It's death waiting to happen right there. And then if you look next to it or across it horizontally, there's a tree that's balancing on it that's also fallen from further away. And then there's actually a tree that's alive. If we come closer, there's also a tree here that's basically been kind of pushed to the side, and that in itself is a widowmaker. Even though it's alive, the weight of that tree carcass on top of it is basically essentially going to pull it down at some point. So this is not a good area to set up a long-term camp. You know, you've got to keep your wits about you when you're just moving through this area as well. So yeah, on an episode of Alone recently in Mongolia, one of the guys set up his camp, and he didn't even realise for a few days that there was a widowmaker right by him. And you know, like, there was a storm that passed through and everything. He could have been killed. He chopped the widowmaker down after a day or so, and yeah, that was it. Like, he was okay from that point, I believe. But widowmakers, you've got to watch out for them, guys. It can be any tree, not just pine trees like you see in here. Any tree can be dead. The best thing to do, sorry, there's spider web. The best thing to do is to just look up, and if something looks dead, then you know from the get-go that, you know, it's a skeleton of a tree and that things are probably rotting inside of it, and just to avoid it. So another example of like looking up at the trees and seeing what is potentially dead before you even go into the area. This one over here behind me, as you can see, there's nothing growing on that tree, guys, at all. It's a skeleton of a tree. It's ready to go. A gust of wind, or, you know, just, it's a ticking time bomb essentially. Do not get yourself caught anywhere near these trees. You know, it's not just pine forest, like I say, it's broadleaf plants as well. So let's talk about a scenario. You're out in the woods, you need a shelter, ricky tick, you need it quick, and you think, I've got the perfect shelter right here. I've got a horizontal tree that's fallen. I can put a tarp over that and I can sleep under that. This is a very bad idea. You just don't know when that's going to come down in the night and crush you. It might not happen within the first hour of you being there. It might not happen within the first year of you being camped there. But eventually that is going to fall on you and crush you. So just avoid these at all costs. There's much better options. You know, just put a piece of cordage between two solid trees and then lay your tarp off of that instead. Or build a natural shelter some other way. Just avoid widowmakers like this that, you know, they look enticing, but if it's the easiest option, sometimes that's the worst option. So another thing to look out for, guys, is a stump. This is clearly been snapped off naturally, and that is a bad sign. If you see that, look around, look all around, because there might be other widowmakers in the area. It might just be that this area isn't very suitable for the trees that are planted here, and it doesn't hold the support for them very well. So what do you think, guys? You know, just some basic principles. Like I say, this is the perfect classroom. Let me get at the sun. This is the perfect classroom for widowmakers. Okay, you can see behind me there, that big monster of a widowmaker. There's also one back that way. You can see the horizontal beam. You could see the snapped off stump that's been naturally left that way. And you can also see where the animals have destroyed a tree there. So this is something just to look out for and to be aware of, whether if you're in a survival situation or you're just in an outdoor setting, you know, enjoying nature. Look out for widowmakers. These things are deadly. Yet again, I'm walking past another one just here, which is clearly snapped off, all on its own accord. So I like this setting because it really gives the best amount of detail on widowmakers I've ever seen. This is the perfect setting for me to do this video in. Anyway, guys, let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know if you've got any stories about widowmakers. You know, maybe you've seen the harsh effects of that. Maybe you've heard some stories in your area. Please do like and subscribe as well. It really helps the channel to grow. And thanks for watching. So yeah, till next time.